Hi guys, perhaps I was overly critical of the Times newspaper journalist Fraser Nelson on the issues of immigration and welfare, because in this interview he gave to Times Radio, he completely destroyed Nigel Farage and Robert Jenrick's narrative that Britain is lawless. Have a listen to this.
If you look at what Robert Jenrick is doing now, he's like a Nigel Farage mini-me. Jenrick is trying to produce like tribute videos to Nigel Farage, coming up with the same narrative, like we've lost control of our country, etc., which simply isn't true. So if this essentially misleading message is echoed by all political parties, you end up with a narrative which is so detached from the truth that people just simply will not recognize the progress around them. So for the essay, we commissioned a poll from YouGov asking people if they are aware of some of the progress, not just in crime, but in climate, for example, and road deaths. And people think these are getting a lot worse. I mean, greenhouse gas emissions are something like 53% down from their peak. Hardly anybody believes that to be true. Road deaths, for example, are a fraction of what they once were. People don't believe that to be true either. But progress, when it happens incrementally, isn't really noticeable. It doesn't grab headlines. It's not really spoken about. It lacks a spokesman, and it also lacks people believing in it. So the risk is that we get inured to the kind of progress and blind to the progress and are inclined to believe things are getting a lot worse in Britain, when in fact, longer term, they're getting a lot better. And I would also make the rather unpopular argument that this is an amazing country, and broadly speaking, there has never been a better time to live in it.
Wonderful. You know, I've been very critical of Fraser Nelson, but kudos to him for coming out and saying this. And he didn't have to, because, you know, the Labour Party is in charge at the moment. It would suit a narrative better for him maybe, or the way he's politically aligned, to say, no, the Labour Party is a disaster and crime is on the rise. No, he's doing proper journalism here. Now, of course, it serves Robert Jenrick and Nigel Farage to sell the idea that the country is falling apart, that it's lawless, that you can't get a police officer when you need one, that you should be afraid to leave your house, because the far right benefit from that. Populists on the right benefit from that. Now, Robert Jenrick wants to be the leader of the Conservative Party, so he wants to ramp up as much fear as possible amongst Conservatives to back somebody like him. And then, of course, Nigel Farage benefits when the public think public services don't work, that the police are not doing their job, that crime is out of control. And you need somebody tough, you need a strong man to step in and sort things out. And this is the type of rhetoric you're hearing from the likes of Farage, how everything is broken, how people are not able to leave their homes, they're not able to walk down the street alone, you can't lock your house anymore, you can't leave your house unlocked, I should say, anymore. Just ramping up the fear so that people will not vote for middle-of-the-road politicians, or they won't vote for left-wing politicians. They'll vote for far-right politicians. They vote for the extreme, because they need somebody, in a sense, to stand up for them. And in order for somebody to stand up for them, they need to live in a constant fear. And Farage is really good at this. So the actual reality is that crime has been declining over the last 10 years. There are some aspects of crime have increased, but generally crime is down, and it doesn't suit the narrative of Robert Jenrick or Nigel Farage. So this is where quality journalism is needed. And kudos once again to Fraser Nelson for saying this, because once again, he doesn't need to do this. You know, he's more of a Tory, I think, so it would be better for him politically to not say anything. But as a journalist, he understands the public need to know. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.